My plan is simple: to trek along this vast, amazing river for 4,000 miles and into the Guinness Book of Records. This is Walking the Yangtze. Yes, by foot. I'm Ash Dykes, extreme athlete.
There's a big world out there, it's a shame not to see it.
Adventurer.
There's a bear in the distance.
And I'm attempting a world record to be the first person ever to walk the entire length of China's Yangtze River. From source...
This is the source. Wanna drink some of that?
To sea.
I said I'm coming to Shanghai, baby, better be ready.
Before this, I've had other adventures. In Madagascar,
The tobacco leaves and ash keeps the leeches off you.
across Southeast Asia,
We've got the white chicken to keep the bad spirits away.
and in Mongolia. I'm heading right into the centre of the storm. Different longitudes and latitudes, but always with the same goal: to explore extreme wildernesses.
If you ever want to know what the world looked like before humans arrived, come here.
To get to know new people, to test myself, and simply prove it can be done. The truth is, I've always been highly driven. But where does this extreme wanderlust come from? My roots are in Colwyn Bay in North Wales.
So when Ash told me he'd like to walk the Yangtze, and then told me how long it was and how long it would take him, that was the shocker.
What a stupid idea. Let's walk the Yangtze River.
But a year is like, you are bonkers. He just wants to set his own path in life.
The most difficult part is the first step.
Touchdown in Beijing. Just arrived. Whew. On this expedition, I'll be using cutting-edge technology to prove my record.
This is the tracker, so every 5 minutes it pings up to the satellite my exact location within 5 meters, my speed and my altitude.
I'll also be trying to get a simple message through: to enjoy the world we live in, but also to protect it. I'll be checking in on the amazing environmental efforts by locals and looking at the ecological state of the third longest river in the world that feeds over 500 million people. Camera set up on the Great Wall of China. Yes, guys. So I'm here with the team. A bit of training, using either this, what I'm using now, the phone, or of course the GoPro. And I'm training for the drones to take on the expedition.
There's the Great Wall over there.
So we're gonna be heading up to the Great Wall, just climbing to one of the top towers now. Pretty much physical training, building up my durability for the demands and the weight of the rucksack. I rubs from the straps, from the buckles, to make sure, there's nothing there, because that sometimes flares into something much bigger, It all starts with a little rub. Woohoo! Yes! Oh man, what a beautiful sight. What a good day's training. I'm traveling from Beijing to the town of Dali in Yunnan province, where my next training is linguistic.
这是什么？
是的。
I am taking a year's worth of Mandarin lessons in just 3 weeks.
对，这是什么？
这是 iPhone。
对
饿
对
了。
对，
请问家里有面包吗 ？J-Lo. I remember Jennifer Lopez.
Leaving Dali and fly to Yushi.
Welcome aboard China Eastern Airlines.
Beautiful here. Surrounded by the mountains already. I think we're around 4,000 meters. Get excited. In my Yushu hotel room, I am preparing for a very modern adventure. I thought I would show you guys the kind of stuff that I'm taking along the Yangtze with me. From the sleeping bag, tent, sleeping mat, a load of different protective clothing, skins wear, 2 pairs of footwear,
We've got the electronics, which consists of the drone, solar panels helping to charge the different power banks that I've got, beacon system helping me to get internet activity, different tripods, satellite phone to help me keep in touch with everyone, hard drive to back everything up. We have ration packs and the stove to allow me to boil the water. We've got the filter bottles helping me get access to fresh drinking water. All of that amounting to 35 kilograms.
I soon get an opportunity to try out some of my kit on another testing day.
Where are you going? Oh, walking down Shan. It's a bit of a training day, you know, so that we can test some of the kit, but also to test the camera crew. If they get to the top of the mountain, then great, you know, they're good to join me. But if they don't, I'm gonna have to send them home, unfortunately. I'm joking. We've got the guys, Joe and Leon.
Hey Ash, slowly please. Will I help? I have a beautiful sofa and I have a big TV. Why? I'll come here with you. For now, you know, it's modern age. We have car. No, I need to have time.
We've got our first break after 10 minutes.
You're a beast.
Besides getting some much needed drone filming practice, I'm also able to get an insight into the fitness, or otherwise, of my camera crew, who will be with me for the trek to the source.
For now, I have a good decision, a big decision. I won't kill Ash anymore.
But there's another, even more important member of the team.
I'm meeting my guide for the first time today, called Gamma, and he's asked specifically that I meet him at a temple that he's directed us to. I also found out he's Tibetan. He can speak Mandarin as well as Tibetan, of course, but doesn't speak English. Hey, Gamma, good to meet you. Hello, hey. So, this is the temple behind that I'm gonna be blessed in for the journey ahead. Yeah. So this is a Buddhist temple that we're in now. CC. So we're saying that this is actually Judgment Day. And so you're hanging in the balance. If you've done good, you go off to heaven. If you've done bad, you drop down through to hell. It's pretty brutal, actually, you know. We've got these guys crawling their way to have their heads chopped off and sent off to the frying pan.
The graphic nature of these murals makes me think I'd better learn how to pray properly.
Okay. They've just been asking me to pray, in return showing respect to the Buddha, which in turn will bless me on my journey ahead.
Bright and early the next day, we set out towards the source.
It's a time. Walking.
On the way, I've arranged a very special rendezvous.
Do you want to check the horse?
Yeah, should we go and see it? They squashed it inside the vehicle. I didn't think you'd be able to fit it inside a small car.
This method of transporting a horse is certainly new to me, but when he gets out, he's still showing signs of feistiness. The horse is one thing, humans are another, and little do I know what's simmering just below the surface.
It was icy last night. It was our first night camping last night. And yesterday, you know, the guy scared the camera crew by saying he saw a bear. So they were a little bit more worked up because of it.
I've had a lot of experience in harsh environments, but the camera crew haven't, and they are clearly spooked.
Leon and Joe, with all their equipment, have decided to call it. You know, they were cold last night. They didn't sleep much last night. And, you know, they woke up and there was ice and frost all over their electronics. So they've decided to head back to Shanghai today. Me, Gamma, and the horse. It's the beginning. You know, we're on the plateau, almost 5,000 meters in the middle of nowhere. You know, complete wilderness surrounding us. It will be a difficult find, but we're about to search for the source of the Yangtze River. It's pretty tricky to find the source. I think it's just over this hill by about 10 miles. But we just found some locals, so we'll ask them.
One of the locals pointed west when we asked him which way is it to the source, but his friend had other opposing ideas.
That's it. We've been sent on our way. Now we just keep walking. We will find it. Oh, the horse just farted in my face.
I decide this is the time to name a very special, if smelly, horse.
And one thing that comes to mind is Castor Choi. You know, of the movie Face Off. He's a badass. And it seems as though this horse is also a badass. And what's exciting is I can see the Yangtze River right up ahead of us. Yeah, boy! We're almost to the Yangtze. We're about 1-2 kilometers away. He's excited too.
But within a few minutes, our mood changes.
Whew. So much climbing to get to the source. You're taking deeper breaths, gasping for the air now and then. My guide's just taking some sort of altitude pill, says he's got a headache. But now I'd say I'm feeling the altitude slightly. Nothing severe, just you can tell. Not as, you know, thinner air, not as much oxygen.
Nobody said it would be easy to conquer the Yangtze, and it would often throw up unexpected difficulties.
He's just got a pretty nasty nosebleed from the altitude.
And then
here comes the hailstorm.
It's early on in the journey, but already I must use my experience of mentally dealing with challenges.
Visualization. One day at a time, one step at a time.
I'm not sure Gam agrees with me.
We're getting closer and closer. You can see the Yangtze down here. It's just getting smaller and smaller.
And again.
Second nosebleed for my guide. Because of the altitude. Suffering quite a bit. It's not nice seeing that. I just don't know how much left he's got in it.
The answer is not much, and painfully near the source, we just have to stop.
So the locals here have kindly put us up for the night.
Gee whiz. Woke up this morning and the guide is vomiting, nose bleeding. So yeah, you know he's seriously suffering with altitude sickness. So it's vital that we get him off the mountains.
Such a shame he got ill. Shame to be leaving. It's beautiful. Beautiful here. But no, it's for the best. We don't want him getting worse. So we'll make sure he's okay. What a good decision that was. Get him home to his family, and then I'll make my way back to where I left yesterday morning.
These are my two new guides, Tudor and Beamer, but not long into our conversation, we discover a slight hitch.
And we can't understand a word of each other. Awesome. Gamma, yeah. So we've just arrived back at this place, not far from the source. This is the track. You know, it took Gamma and me 2 days to walk here. And now that we've got an official national park ranger, we just drove here in 3 hours.
There is another difference. Gamma and I had been trying to find our way to the source of the Yangtze by following the streams. Now I was taken to the government-verified place. With an official plaque that represents the true and scientific source.
Due to respect, you gotta flick it. This leads out almost 4,000 miles and pours out into the East China Sea near Shanghai. Let's create history.
Here, the journey officially begins. A few rules. In order to qualify as a world first, I must walk the entire length of the Yangtze. Its Chinese name is the Long River for a good reason. It's estimated to be over 8 million steps. My sat-nav tracker constantly records my precise location to prove I have walked every single meter. That means no cars, no boats, and no jumping on the back of Caster Choi.
Me and Tuda, the younger guide, are carrying the rucksack. And only the horse is really carrying a bit of food, but mainly Bima, the older guide's rucksack and equipment.
My main concern is covering the ground and being able to get off the plateau before the onset of winter.
Originally, I would have loved to have done 20 miles a day, but I don't think that's happening. So I think we're going to aim for 15 miles a day. We had a little bit of drama last night. The older guy shouldn't really be complaining on day number 1, saying if he stops at 4 again, when there's still another 4.5 hours worth of daylight, we could probably do over 10 miles in that amount of time. You know, then we're going to have to be forced to get rid of him. Only because it jeopardizes me, really. If I'm too slow and not covering the distance I need to be covering, then it's all good for these guys, you know, they go home, whereas I'll be facing it at its harshest.
Being delayed by film crews and guide issues made me fear the winter. But even the winter didn't have the bite of these two mastiffs. These are the dangerous wild dogs of the Tibetan plateau.
Trying to bloody attack us. That one got pretty close too. You know, the water to go ball isn't just handy to drink from. I swung at that dog then and almost caught its face.
It isn't long before one of the Tibetan mastiffs comes back.
This feels like the wild, wild west. It is, effectively. It's the wild, wild west of China.
Out here, there is not a lot to be scavenged, and mastiffs can be fiercely protective of their territory. In this situation, I have to stay calm and under no circumstances panic. Something that Caster Choi is doing a little too well for my liking. But the locals have severely warned me about this type of dog. This one seems friendly enough now, but you never know. It follows us for nearly 3 miles and then, mysteriously, he simply walks away. And just when you're back and think you're making good progress, the Yangtze has a way of throwing out obstacles. In this case, itself.
Trying to find a way across, because it's so deep, it's, you know, we'd have to swim it.
After seeing someone who didn't quite make a successful crossing, Caster Choi is the first to take the plunge.
So we know what we've got to do now. This is going to be freezing! I can no longer feel my feet, by the way. It's like a bit of torture to end the day. We probably covered about 22 miles today, but as we were walking through the valley following the Yangtze River, we saw a couple of nomadic tents in the distance. These guys have invited us into their yurt, very hospitable of them, and it's so nice and warm. They've given us cha. This is what it's about. It's about not distancing myself from the locals. You know, I can't speak their language, they can't speak my language, but you know, we're still smiling. I'm showing them my satellite phone, I'm showing them the route of the Yangtze, showing them photos. I'm trying out my Chinese, asking their name, asking where they're from.
I doubt they've had this before, a foreigner just walking up. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere. And it's amazing to see people not only living out here, but thriving. Special moments like this make the trip worthwhile. Yeah, the fire's so good. If we could have this every night, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
The next morning, gratefully refreshed, we set off on our way. But it isn't long before the Yangtze begins to widen. The terrain turns craggy and Choi faces a fearsome test.
Pretty nerve-wracking for what we're about to attempt. Oh! That's a hell of a drop. Look at that. He was slipping as well. On the granite, tubes were slipping. And he just stayed in one place until he stopped slipping and carried on. This is why he's called Choi. That was steep as anything. Madness. That's an impressive horse, isn't it? Gee whiz.
A true warrior, Choi is my new hero. But he must prove himself again through some dangerous waters.
There's a storm coming, and we've got the horse.
Never in doubt, a successful crossing all round. And as ice cold as this river is, I'm not done with it yet.
For a wash. So it was a bitterly cold morning. The tents were frozen, getting the horse ready, and then we're going to head off for another 18 to 20 mile day. We crack on. It's not meant to be easy, but it is meant to challenge us, and it sure is doing that.
If I can't make good headway, in the worst case scenario, I'll be snowed in for the winter, and the mission will be in major jeopardy.
And now all the hills are decorated white because of the hail. There's quite a big storm brewing outside. Wow, one of the biggest, if not the biggest storm I have ever witnessed. My whole body vibrated when the lightning struck the ground. It was fork lightning and it was way too close. I was getting a little bit worried then. I was like, come on, I do not want to be a statistic. I feel sorry for Choi, but that's why his name is Choi. He's a badass.
And the next day, with the temperature way down, the sheer intensity of the cold drives us again to seek shelter.
So we rocked up last night at this really nice family's hut and they fed us up, gave us food, we had a good sleep, and then we woke up this morning to find the snow has finally officially arrived. So here we are, trekking in the snow. Wow, visibility's not too great either, it's still going for it. I think winter has officially arrived here. I think one of the guides took my waterproof gloves, so I'm having to adapt. I just put 2 plastic bags around my hands. We're on top of the mountain, so not a good situation to be in. We've lost the track. We can't see any people, so we now need to try to navigate our way down. I want to get down because if there's another blizzard, we're screwed.
At times like this, I look forward to my own private goal to make it to the first bend of the Yangtze. At lower altitude, warm and lush, if I can get there, I know that winter and many of the biggest dangers of the expedition will be behind me. But that's 800 miles away.
Oh, what a difficult day that was. I'm glad we're off the mountains. That was dangerous up there. And we are going full steam ahead. It's in the distance we can see. It's like a community almost. We just arrived, but we was just so hungry. We bought a box of everything from drinks to snacks, and these guys have just been ace, you know, proper looking after us. So it's noodles for supper. And now I'm in a local's hut. The local kids have come to check photos out. Good? Oh, so that was great last night. I was just chilling with the monks, so I appreciated that. Saitien. Getting to Chuma is my first checkpoint, but it means also that I'm closer to getting off the mountains, which is important because, you know, well, look at the weather. It's below zero. We're still at over 4,500 meters. We're about 8 to 9 miles away from Chuma. And this track leads us to the main road.
But there is at least one casualty of winter.
So Beamer is leaving us. He's sick of the weather. He's going to take this lorry. He's hitchhiking to Chuma. So we've just said bye to Beamer. Me and Beamer never really saw eye to eye. There he goes. We can see Chuma right in the far distance. And it's all downhill. Yeah!
Chuma is situated in the south of Shanghai province. I'm still on the Tibetan plateau, and this is a major town for the region with over 32,000 people living here, most of whom observe a lot of religious rituals. The first thing I want to do is get myself into a restaurant.
Do you like spicy food? I love spicy food. My favourite Chinese food is jiaozi and baozi. I've been dreaming about this.
Wow, so good. And here I finally find a guide who can speak English, so I can ask him all the questions I wanted to about this region. But first, I'm still hungry.
How about we pick up from a stall a local snack? Shall we go for some gyro? Oh wow, this looks really good actually. I wasn't expecting to cook it. I thought we'd just grab it and eat it. What's just mad that I've just noticed is, you know, we're in a small town on a little street stall and we can pay with our phones. Just scan it and the payment's sent straight to the lady. How true.
Next, we're heading for the hills with views of the town where I can interview my guide and get it out on social media.
The name of Chuma is actually the river. It's like a red color.
And the people here, what are their thoughts on the Yangtze?
Tibetan culture, we have a lot of respect to the rivers. Our forefathers said like you never disrespect the river because there's some creature living in the river, which we believe in our Tibetan culture called Naga. And once you like contaminate the river, a Naga will get sick. So therefore, people always pay very good attention, make sure the water is clean.
Yeah.
They're also like part of like a meditation, compassion, right? For the like downstream people have like a good water to drink.
Enjoy the world we live in, but also protect it.
Yeah.
Speaking of protecting, I've come to admire and respect Caster Choi. But because the next part of my journey is over mountain ridges, it's time to put him up for sale. To get a good price though, I'm going to have to spruce him up a bit.
You know, he's been good to us, but now we want him looking clean, looking fresh. But who wouldn't want Caster Choi? He's a legend. He's just trekked over 400 miles over some of China's harshest terrain.
My guide helps me to locate some potential buyers.
Chuma, Caster Choi, a beautiful pedigree, strong, handsome fella.
Sadly, this chap's not taking my sales pitch. He can read the real story in Caster's teeth and tells me Caster is over 20 years old. Will he still buy him?
Failed attempt. We'll keep pushing on to find Caster Choi a home.
Like he's not interested in buying for...
Nope. And when the next potential buyer discovers further defects, things start to look pretty bad.
He even has actually been bitten by a wolf.
By a wolf?
Oh yeah.
What a gangster.
There's no beating these locals in trying to sell Caster. They have been raised with horses, so they know them inside out.
Despite all the evidence, sometimes you just need to brazen it out and push your luck.
Would he be willing to purchase Castor Choi?
He'd like to buy it.
Yeah? Thank you, Shishi. He's a good horse. Hen hao. Hen hao. So we've dropped the price, but that means he's with another 3 horses, I believe, in a much bigger field just nearby. So that's a happy ending.
Oh yeah, he'll bring the money tomorrow.
Ming Tian Jian.
With Castor sold, I'm taking an opportunity to learn more about how the local people live in this region.
I've passed a lot of and stayed with lots of nomads along the way, but I've been unable, of course, to ask them questions, to truly understand their way of living, so I look forward to it.
These people welcome me into their home and soon have me feeling like part of the family.
Tasty dash. It's sour.
吃下阿里，
吃下阿里，
东下阿里，
东下阿里，
巴哟，
巴哟。
But I'm not just here to eat and play. Come the beautiful dawn, I'm supposed to be helping them out.
So, I'm being taught how to milk a yak.
Both hands.
Yeah?
Rub 2
Doesn't like that.
She'll demonstrate to you.
Yeah. How the hell does she do that? Am I grabbing the right one? There's about 8 of them. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, I see. You got to be quite ruthless with it. That would take a year just to fill a pint, I think. What? Hey, I'll let her crack on because she's much better and faster. I'll be here all day otherwise. Fair dues to them, they've got skills. Do they sell the milk?
They normally shake it so that they get butters out of the milk.
Butter? Yeah.
Especially this time of the year, the butter is rich.
My second task was, unfortunately, just as hands-on.
So they use this. They gather all this dung for the fire. So they'll gather it, they'll spread it, and they'll leave it to dry in the sun. Once it's dry, it's a great tinder, effectively, and keeps the fire going all night long. I'm better at this than I am at milking a yak, aren't I? I'm better at dealing with the poo. How about a hug?
Well, maybe a pat on the back. Before leaving, there was just enough time to share a couple of things I'm not completely poo at. My football skills, and my newly learned drone flying ability.
I love it.
Back in Chuma, I'm joined by my new cameraman, Kyle.
That is so windy.
That's ridiculous,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
this distance is like as the bird flies.
I worked out that one of these bends just from there to here is about 5 miles.
He'll be trekking with me for the next few days, and together we scope out the route ahead.
Every one of these hills are 5,000 meters.
Kyle and I are back near the water's edge at the Tongtian Bridge. It's 95 meters high with a span of over 1 kilometer, and it represents some of the new construction happening all along the Yangtze. So we've just left my first checkpoint, which was Chuma. We've now rejoined the Yangtze River.
Makes a hell of a difference carrying a full load. Woo! Whoa, quite cold. That is the biggest challenge. Missing Castor Choi already.
I'm daunted by the weight of my load going into the mountainous terrain, but I have no choice.
How much do you reckon your pack weighs? You know, at first I thought maybe 25, but I think it's closer to 30 kilograms at the minute. So we've got this nice track here that we've been following all morning. It's a bit bendy, bit all over the place, but it's good to trek on. We cover fast distance. It's 12 o'clock and we've already covered just over 15 kilometers, which is great. It won't last long. Just over there where you can see the bright white clouds and the snow-peaked mountains, That's where the Yangtze starts S-bending around the V-shaped valleys, so that's going to prove to be very difficult, very challenging. So this here is a Tibetan Mani prayer. You can find these prayers carved into the walls all over really, and especially near the Yangtze, they consider the Yangtze as holy.
With these radical S-shaped river bends piling on the miles, we want to make sure we're on the right track. So we take any opportunity to check with the locals.
Is a 路可以到玉树吗？啊，
就是
是
40公里。
4公里。
他们问
OK，
他们
可以
问一下，
谢谢，
他们问一下
再见。
These men give us more information than we wanted to hear. They tell us that 2 days previously, a woman had been attacked and killed by a pack of wolves. She was walking on exactly the same path as what we were about to take.
We got a loud piercing mountain whistle, and I guess make yourself look big, shout, scream, be aggressive. Hopefully it's enough to scare them off. My whistle. Do you want to cover your ears? Ooh.
Does it make you nervous knowing there could be a bear on that side?
My first week I was pretty nervous with bears. Actually, before I went to the source, I was bricking it slightly, because when I brought my guide off the mountains, due to him having altitude sickness, he showed me a video filmed by China TV of a bear that had attacked a family. His fear started to rub off on me. That's when I had worry, you know, I had fear. I'm just a little snack to a bear, and that's what this wilderness does to you. It makes you realise just how insignificant and vulnerable you are. There's a track, and that looks fairly used, and it curls along the bottom of this ridge. Yeah, baby. Not so yeah, baby. Whew. So we got down that cliff face, but now we've got this dodgy looking bridge to cross. As I was crossing then, you know, especially the weight of me and the backpack together, I saw the locals just look at each other with it like a sort of terrified face. If the locals panic, you should absolutely, definitely be panicking. Landed straight towards this gur, and they've just invited us in for a bit of food, which is, wow, pretty lucky actually. This is so well needed. Homemade yogurt with sugar on top. My favourite food to have at a nomadic gur. If I wasn't a professional with chopsticks before, I absolutely will be after. Eating yogurt with chopsticks. So the locals have just told us that they do have bears here. And he said it so casually, like it didn't matter.
These are pictures they shot.
No way! Snow leopard. Wow. They've managed to capture images of snow leopards right ahead of us, pretty much where we're going. I've been at 4,000 to 5,000 meters for over 1 month, so it's great to drop down slightly in elevation. However, that doesn't mean the danger's gone. This is the first time that I've actually seen trees along the Yangtze River, and that's where the bear danger lies. Look at this trail. These are bear footprints, man. That's scary. That's its back foot, and this is its front foot. These are fresh from this morning. That's pretty terrifying. So you can see here, there's the bear's front paw compared to the size of my fist. That's a big bear. Suppose we just keep cracking on, hey? Woo! This is a hell of an incline now. One step at a time. Christ, that mountain. Hated that last bit. There's something about mountains that gives you strength when you hit the top. Look at that, that is just mountainous. You know, we feel that there's a storm brewing. It's been a super hot day today, and if it was to rain as we're trying to traverse that terrain, we have zero chance of success. So swallow our pride, be happy with the decision we made.
And the difficult decision was to turn back on ourselves and retrace our steps until we could find a safe path.
What do we got here, Ash?
So at a monastery here, we've just climbed down back the mountain. We're at the monastery and we're thinking if we can camp here for the night. It's now 6 o'clock, it'd be a great time. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
What's your name?
Ash, Chuma, Julie, sleep, and then Ming Tian. Chuma? Garanchi, that'd be great. It's always nice, you know, we've been lucky really, at the end of the day to get, you know, to get shelter, to get warm, hopefully to grab some food.
Hopefully to grab some food. How I come to regret those words.
Last night I had one of two things that have made me feel like vomiting or letting loose diarrhea-wise, and that's either the milk tea, which is just full of sugar, or it's the Sichuan pasta and spam that I had. It's the spiciness. You know, I love spice after living in Thailand, but if it is that, then it's hit me sideways. But what I need to do now is either let loose or vomit.
Yeah man, feel good to go, feel better. Alright, now that that's done, let's crack on closer to Sichuan. Just zero energy today, I feel drained, I feel like I've just had something take out all of my energy and I'm using the very last reserves.
With vomiting and diarrhea, it's really important to try to keep down any little bite of digestive food like bananas, and especially to keep hydrated.
Struggling this day. It feels like this all hit me at once. I've not felt like this before. Can we rock and roll? So we're heading up through this mountain pass here. We'll tuck to the right, tuck to the left, and we're aiming for a village. And that village is Kyle, my videographer's pickup point. So although I'm suffering with diarrhea, vomiting this morning and just feeling a little bit delirious, you know, it's important that we get there today, otherwise Kyle's pretty screwed, so we gotta crack on. Yeah, the mountains, they love to try to break me, emotionally and physically. They just never end. You gotta laugh in this scenario, otherwise you'll just cry. What a stupid idea. Let's walk the Yangtze River from source to sea. You know, put that idea in my head.
We painstakingly descend from the mountains. It's taken so long we end up walking in the dark.
Whew. Yeah. So we're trying to make it to the village still. The driver didn't rock up. God knows where he is. This could be our guy. 2 hours too late, but better late than never. Oh, you're joking me. It's not him.
But eventually we find the village and Kyle manages to make his rendezvous.
My God, I'll never forget that.
That's
That'll be a
insane,
lifetime of memory right there.
Traveling on my own again, I feel incredibly vulnerable. my sense of foreboding is not helped by my discovery of a creepy village.
But it's completely abandoned. It's derelict, nobody's here. Hoping that this fence is keeping the bears at bay. You've got to be so careful, you've got to be aware. And now coming down from the mountain peaks because it's too cold for them and they're desperately searching for any sort of food before they go into hibernation. This time of year they're the worst for it because they just feast on what they can.
I'm gonna try to sleep as soon as the sun goes down.
I woke up at 5:30, set off early because today is probably my biggest day. Got my knife handy, my torch, my whistle, but also I've got my pole and I'm tapping that on the floor to make noise, of course, because there are still bears around here. So the sun has risen. I was safe from bears. That was quite scary though, I must admit. That was freaky. Hearing all sorts of noises, all sorts of creatures waking up from the night. And it's kind of like, there's wolves, bears, they're all in there wanting to eat you, wanting to get your blood. But yeah, I'm feeling walking fit. It's what the training was for back in the UK. Grinding every day for moments like this. Look at that. Beautiful. Happy Halloween, guys. Scrambling up a mountain pass. Being careful where I'm going. Staying focused. Because the last thing we want on Halloween is for me to be eaten by a bear or a pack of wolves. Woo! 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 I do that sometimes when I can't be bothered getting my whistle out. One year, I will give myself a break. I will take a rest. But until then, we'll keep grinding hard, pushing limits, exceeding boundaries, living to the full, discovering and exploring the beauty of planet Earth. So I arrived in the city of Durong, and I arrived in time. It's my birthday today. I'm gonna take tomorrow off, and I managed to grab myself a cake and a couple of beers. See, I may be alone, but I'm never lonely. I always find something to do.
Hopefully this year, by completing this at the age of 28, I'll achieve my 3rd world first record. It's about influencing positivity. It's about helping to make a small change to the planet we live on, and to promote positively. How important it is to enjoy your life, but to protect the world we live in. Pain and suffering is always worth it for that. This morning I woke up and it just feels like within a day I've entered a different country. Hotter, more vegetation. This is a haze. I love that. That's what I love about adventures in general. You really get a feel for the country. You feel and see and experience the change. It's the noises as well. Cicadas I can hear. The jungle is probably more my environment than any environment, I'd say. I like to think I've tested myself in almost every environment and conditions.
Now I'm entering a town that I know contains a very special place.
When I started to first do research on the Yangtze River, when the idea first came to mind, I typed in the Yangtze River on Google Images, and this bend is one of the first, and actually probably one of the most famous images of the Yangtze. So this guy's kindly taken me up to the viewpoint, as I know it can be spectacular if you make the effort to get the right spot. Wow, here it is, guys.
Instead of continuing south and out of China, this bend turns this mighty river east and through its heart, changing the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people and altering my course towards Shanghai. Making it this far means I've successfully left all the dangers of the wintry plateau behind me. What happens next and what challenges await me will be a whole new and different adventure.
I love this river. Beautiful and crazy. It's sending me all over China.